Morning, everybody. How we doing? Sammy and I, People's TV. Unbelievably, I'm a couple of minutes late. That's what happens when an estate agent decides to ring you at 10:01. Not even my fault, this one. But look, good morning to all of you. We're going to be speaking through all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news like I do every single day. We'll speak about a little bit on Jarrad Branthwaite, a little bit on Joshua Zirkzee. But the main focus of today is going to be around Ruud van Nisterooy. And yeah, I've got a smile on my face. You know, I have the idea of Ruud coming back in isolation. I'm just enjoying that as a fanboy. A little bit later on today, I'll be looking at it from a different perspective in terms of tactically, in terms of what it would mean. We're going to do a little mini deep dive for today's lunchtime video before an actual full-on deep dive. Don't say I don't treat you well on this channel. We'll speak about the Euros. We'll speak about possibly the saddest photo I've seen from football this year. It's not funny. It is a little bit funny, but not funny. It's like Schadenfreude. My favourite word, by the way. Google Schadenfreude if you don't know what that means. And yeah, I'll answer as many of your questions and comments around Ruud van Nistelrooy, around the story, around Ten Hag's new contract, this new structure that's coming. You can let me know what you think. Who's here in the comments? Have a look. Carl, good morning to you. And Josh Gungshi, I can see you there. Alex, good morning to you. Ant, you're there as well. Don't know why I'm making... I've been up since 5 a.m. I don't know why I'm so chipper. But I am. I really am. John, good morning to you from the member gang. Chris, you're there. Simmer. Michael, Andrew, right, how you doing, man? Shugsy. Mark Bishop, big fan. It's a great name. James Wilson. Oh, that gives me PTSD. Somebody's name being James Wilson. It shouldn't be allowed on this channel. Matt, I see you there on Facebook. How you doing, man? Foot is doing better. Yeah, but I'm still about 50% of the way there. Don't get this surgery done, kids. We won't anyway. I think it's on the same level as like an Achilles rupture. Like it takes like 9 months to get back to, you know, your foot actually working properly. On Facebook, who else is there? Emmanuel McCauley, we've got Chris Wynn and Atiru Ibrahim. Good morning to all of you. Gungshi, I see you there. The big man himself. The Gungshi, the legend, the urban myth. I don't know how many other things I can say. All right. Big up to you, dude. What do you reckon, bro?
You know the lads who do the massages.
I know what you're saying.
We're having a night out. Free
Relax.
They're bringing. Then they're coming with all their mates. You're like, you're bringing your mates. You're like, relax.
Anyway, I need to update those. It's been a busy few days, but I will be updating those this week. Gungshi, as always, and thanks to everybody just making this community what it is. Now, it's like the saddest photo I've seen in football this year. Croatia, yes, mate. Euros are throwing out. I don't know how many late winners they've had so far this tournament. Feels like a lot. And last night, Italy, Croatia, I wouldn't say they were all over them. They got the goal. Modric missed the penalty. Then he scored like 40 seconds later. And then kind of Croatia went deeper and deeper. Italy got more and more pressure. But it didn't really look like they were going to score until they scored. An outrageous goal. One of those perfect goals. You know, the one where the attacker, they shape their body and just the natural shape of the body and the way that their foot's coming through and it just curls perfectly into the top side netting. Great goal. Really sad photo. Because it probably means that Luka Modric is now... That's it. That's the end of Luka Modric. Unless Croatia somehow get through on 2 points and like a -3 goal difference. But it seems unlikely. I would say it seems very unlikely. Either way. Unlucky for Luka Modric. Oh, man, Alex. Wow. Alex down there with some payday gifties. Jeez. Payday gifts up in here. I don't even know what this 21 is now. Is it Rooney? I think we've got a little Rooney celebration going on. So look. Rooney! I remembered it. It defies what?
It defies description.
That's exactly what it does. I need to get a Ruud one in there. That's what we need. Maybe the... What Ruud... I like the... Well, my favourite Ruud goal was the Charlton one. I know lots of people like the Fulham one as well. I mean, he scored 150, the buggers. That's to choose one. I'm going to update that. Danny saying Croatia were better in the second half. I mean, it was. I'm going to be speaking about Calafiori in a minute. And if you watched the video yesterday, I already spoke about Calafiori yesterday. Anyway, can we just speak about this? I mean, you knew it was coming, right? You knew it was coming. First of all, Gareth Southgate correcting the problem that should never have existed, all right? Shouldn't have existed. Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield was never the right decision. Tactically, balance, team, build-up, nope. Square peg, round hole. Oh no, what a surprise. Nobody saw that coming. It doesn't work on the international stage. I mean, honestly, who could have possibly, everybody, absolutely everybody, every single United and England and just football fan knew it was going to happen. And he's been taken out and Conor Gallagher's gone in. And again, no one's surprised. But let's see what Paul Scholes thinks of it. Because I think Paul Scholes knows a little bit more about me than football.
To do that, you think of Toni Kroos with Germany. He just makes them play football. He makes Real Madrid play football. I think Rodri, Manchester City and Spain, he makes your team play football. And I think Kobbie Mainoo has got that, the ability to do that. And that all of a sudden it frees up the likes of Jude Bellingham. He's not worried about having to come back all the time and try and help with the build-up because he's brilliant going forward. Phil Foden exactly the same. I just think that one change could make a hell of a difference to this team.
Deary me. Collins saying Connor is better in the position. I mean, he's just not. All right? You're just wrong. Flat out wrong. Conor Gallagher adds a lot of energy into that midfield. And Gareth Southgate's gone for energy rather than poise. And it's not just about Kobbie Mainoo, by the way. It's Adam Wharton. It's about profiles. Scholes, fans of other clubs are, what Scholes is putting Kobbie Mainoo in the same category as Toni Kroos or Rodri, saying he's as good as them. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's talking about profiles. And this is what people can't understand. Well, some people can't understand. The profile of Kobbie Mainoo, keeping the ball, not being scared of the ball, retaining possession, being in the right place at the right time, not just running around like a puppy dog. It's brain over, I don't know what else you want to call it. But yeah, that's what Conor Gallagher is in midfield there. Right? And I'm sure he will add energy. And I'll be honest, I think England will win tonight, and I think Gallagher will help England play better. I mean, it doesn't mean that you couldn't go 2 levels above that if you went towards someone like Mainoo or someone like Wharton. It's about balance, man. The best teams in the world are not made up typically of the best 11 players. Well, if you can somehow get a team that is consisted of the best 11 players you've got, then you've got like a title-winning team. But typically, the best teams are not necessarily made up by the best players. And specifically with England, every single England manager befalls the same fate of just being scared to leave certain names on the bench, even if it's the right thing to do for the team. Gareth Southgate's done that. Now he's dropped Trent and Gallagher's gone in. And as I said, I think England will win tonight, and I think England will actually be better. But it doesn't mean that England couldn't be even better on top of that. And I think Scholes knows a thing or two about playing in midfield. Not so much central midfield for England, because you bloody lamped Scholes on the left wing to accommodate Jarrad and Lampard. How'd that work out for you, England? Nope. Anyway, I think I said it before. Like, if Mainoo somehow avoids the bullets that's coming the way of this England team, then, hey, Mainoo's 19, man. He's going to be going to, what? Let's say he's got 12 years in him. That's 6 international tournaments past this point. I think he'll be fine missing out on this one. But yeah, it's typical. I mean, it's absolutely predicted, but it's just like, let's read a couple of your comments out down here on England. Obviously, England playing tonight. Offer Pep the England job. That'd be interesting. Offer it to Mourinho, man. Mourinho in international football would be so much fun. Because in short bursts, I think it would work very, very well. It's just like the wheels come off when you end up spending too much time with Mourinho. Enthusiasm will never beat composure and ability, says Ant. I won't disagree with that. Midfield 3 should be Rice, Bellingham, and Foden. I do think that Bellingham should drop deeper, and then Foden goes in the middle. But then again, that might be me. That might be me doing square pegs round holes. It's like, how do you possibly get Bellingham and Foden to both play in central positions in around about the number 8, number 10 role, which is where their best football comes? Well, you're going to have to create a system that works. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I'll watch England later. They'll probably win. And they'll probably be better. We'll find out. Who else playing? Is it Netherlands, Austria? Let's have a look. Should have pulled the fixtures up, actually. Whoops. Sack me. Sackable offence. Oh, there's actually 4 games on today. Jeez. We have got Denmark, Serbia. I think Christian Eriksen can become the highest ever capped Danish player if he plays, and he should play, should start. Hope he scores. Go on. England playing Slovenia, obviously. France against Poland. I mean, you back France. Poland haven't been that good. And Netherlands, Austria will be a tasty game. I think England could face Austria in the round of 16. Potentially. Not quite sure. Anyway, I'm backing Denmark to win, England to win, France to win, and a draw. Oh, Austria. Don't know. That's what I would say. Anyway, should be a good day of footy. A good day of footy. Let's get into the main part of the show. Now that we've got the intros chat out of the way, the Euros chat. Now, I did my video yesterday. Not so many of you enjoyed it. Maybe just nobody was interested in the topic itself. But I ran through like 11 centre-backs. And I said this. I said, right, if Manchester United can't sign Jean-Claire Todibo because UEFA are blocking us from signing him, and if we're not going to sign Jarrad Branthwaite because Everton want a ridiculous amount for him and we're not going to pay it, what are the centre-backs we'll be looking at? And I ran through a list of 11 players. And I put them in 3 categories. I put them in what would I consider a good deal, what would I consider a bad deal, and what I would consider potentially a great deal. Now, I'm going to run through what I did in that video and also extend it into a little bit of conversation here. And this is what I sort of concluded. I put Tapsoba, Chalobah, and Diamande on the good deal area. In the bad deal, now this is not necessarily that that player is a bad player. That's why I put bad deal, not bad player. Inacio, I don't think we should be spending that much on a left-sided centre-back. Now, you might say, well, that rules out Branthwaite, but Branthwaite plays in both and can also play left-back if you need him to. So it's not just that. Whereas Inacio is pretty much a left-sided, a left centre-back specialist. Gahey, too much. Kilman, I think we get dragged into a bidding war with Newcastle, and I think West Ham are after him. Delict, mate, it's going to cost like 60+ mil. That's not to say that he would definitely be a bad signing, but I think we could do better for that amount of money. And I put Bremer in there as well, in terms of bad deals. And there were 2 names that I had in my sort of great list, in terms of the quality of the player and also the price of the deal. And that's why I put Luchumi and Calafiori on that great side. Now, and you're telling me that Inacio plays in more positions than that, and I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Hey, come on. Sometimes I am. You know, it's impossible to actually fully understand all these players and do all this show at the same time. So I only go so far. So maybe I'm wrong on Inacio. All right, sue me. Calafiori and Luchumi. Of course, 2 differing situations yesterday. Luchumi played for Colombia against Paraguay in Copa America. 25 minutes comes, off he pops. Right? Off he pops. With an injury. I don't know whether it was a bad one. I think the football president, not the actual Colombian president, maybe not. Colombian football president said it doesn't look that serious. We'll see what goes on there. But he comes off with an injury. And then yesterday, Calafiori, wow. Man. I actually, after watching that game for a while, I was like, I know that Calafiori on paper, he's lined up as a left-sided centre-back. But I watched the game, and I saw him at left-back, left wing, central midfield, left central midfield, right central midfield, number 10. I was like, where is this bloke playing? And he was comfortable with the ball at his feet in basically any position. Progressive, confident, strong, good defending. Calafiori is definitely one to watch. Now, somebody down there, I think I heard this before actually, about the sell-on clause. I can't remember who. I don't know who. I don't know who Bologna signed him from, but I think they've got a big percentage sell-on clause, which would probably drive up this price. Now, this price I kind of made up whilst I was like, how much do you actually think? Like, hypothetically, ladies and gents, Calafiori, what do you think the price there should be? Because I was doing it whilst I was recording, so I didn't actually have too much time to think about what that price would be. But, I mean, you're going to get a little bit of a premium from the Euros as well, aren't you? Like saying that, Italy have lost both their games. Well, 2 games. Oh, no. 1 game? 1-1, drawn 1, lost 1. Darker, you're saying 40 to 50. So is Gus. Faisal saying 45. Ant, you're saying 50. Klein saying 55. 60 mil says Daly. 60 mil says Jonathan Rose. Yeah, maybe let's go for a bit of that then. That seems more reasonable. Seems more reasonable. I mean, it's going to be a wedge. And this is the kind of the biggest. I would say probably the best options on paper, centre back wise. Probably at left-sided centre-back. The biggest problem that we've got is at right-sided centre-back, which is a little bit annoying. Yoro's off the cards there. And if I'm looking at right-sided centre-backs here, I mean, you've got Max Kilman, you've got De Ligt, you've got Bremer, you've got Chalobah. I mean, Chalobah doesn't exactly move me, if I'm being completely honest. But I think there's probably a deal to be done there. You know what Chelsea like. If in my mind, I was thinking, if Manchester United could sell Victor Lindelof for somewhere between £5 to £10 million and sign Chalobah for somewhere between 15 to £20 million, that's a squad upgrade. It's not going to move it's not going to move the needle at all, but I would say that's a squad upgrade for relatively little outlay, which is why I would put Chalobah over there as a sort of a good deal, rather than being the perfect player. But I think it'd be a good deal. I think out of all of these, I've still had Luchumi quite high up for me personally, in terms of. I think both of them really. Just Bologna were a very, very exciting team last season. They really, really were. Thiago Motta, there's a reason that he's gone to Juve, and he's now their manager. And there's a reason why Calafiori looks so comfortable with the ball at his feet. Again, there's a reason why that all the players in that system are so geared towards being comfortable with the ball at their feet. So it's going to be an interesting one. But yeah, that video yesterday was my way of looking at, okay, right, if Todibo's off the cards and Branthwaite's off the cards, that there is who I think we could be looking at. And there was 11 names. So it's not exactly a small market. Tons in the centre-back market. And let's see who we go for. Or maybe we'll go after Branthwaite again. And I'm going to be speaking about Branthwaite next. But Nuruddin, I still haven't. I've got this voice mod app that I really want to get working, and I can just like press a button and change the voice, and I can give Nuruddin like, I don't know, like a boxing. Give Nuruddin like a boxing intro. Mate, you gifted 50 memberships, man, and just consistently, constantly, you're helping this channel develop and grow, and helping me do videos like I'm going to be doing at lunchtime today. It's going to be on Van Nistelrooy's tactics. It's going to be, the quality is going to be right up there. But the man, the myth, the legend, Nuruddin and Gungshi and Alex all gifted memberships today. Let's take a little minute. Just enjoy the FA Cup final. 4 weeks ago this was, by the way. United. Yeah, mate. Thank you very much, dude. As always, I hope it doesn't come across as insincere. Because I don't really know what to say at this point. You're just helping this channel really go up there, man. And I'm so excited to keep leveling up the content. We're going to be doing a proper deep dive on Ruud van Nisterooy. The same sort of level as the ones that we did on Omar Barada. Who else did we do one on? Dan Ashworth. quite a lot. It's going to be a good one. But let's speak about the news ahead of today's video at lunchtime, where I'm going to focus on mainly the tactics at PSV and maybe what we can learn from there as to what he might bring to Manchester United. But Ruud, we spoke last week about him being lined up for maybe the Burnley job. And we thought, no, that would be brilliant. I thought that would be a way for him to develop as a coach, because as much as we might look at Ruud van Nisterooy, I've been doing plenty of reading up on Van Nistelrooy now. So, I mean, he's been in coaching for around about 9 years, I believe. When he started from Malaga, when Pellegrini asked him to become like a player coach there, and he actually realised he enjoyed it, to working through the youth teams at PSV, to then coaching PSV's young team. You know, Ajax, in Holland, you get like Ajax young and you get PSV young. It's like kind of the youth team, and it's in the second tier in Holland. Went there, finished mid-table, which was considered a real achievement. And the style he developed and the principles of his management. He's done a fair amount as a manager already. Obviously, he managed that 1 year at PSV, finished second, left one game before the end of the season, and he cited a lack of support. Now, there's conversations around player revolt or player fallout, and that requires more research. I'm not going to comment on that just yet. But I want to speak about what the news is, because when we heard from Fabrizio Romano that Man United wanted him in as an assistant manager, we all had the conversation. And yesterday in the poll, right? Yesterday in the poll, it was 60% thought that Van Nistelrooy would choose Burnley, and 40% thought that he'd choose United. And I was in the 40% gang. I looked at the two and I thought, in terms of development, he stands to gain a lot more from Burnley. But maybe not. I'm going to run through what the news article says here, and then we can have a conversation in the comments. But that's not before. Calvin, you gifted 10 memberships as well. Man, it is an absolute summer party in here today. It's like a barbecue.
Good morning, good morning. Hello.
That'll never get bored, man. I'll never get bored of that one. Even if Casemiro leaves. Anyway, this is what's been reported out in Holland, all right? Van Nistelrooy is set to return to Manchester United. Ruud van Nistelrooy is about to return to his old club. Former striker is in talks with them over a job to become the assistant manager under head coach Erik ten Hag. Both parties are enthusiastic. We go down here. And the first thing I want to speak about, right, is the reason I said I thought that Ruud van Nistelrooy would choose Burnley over United was because being the head honcho, being in the spotlight, managing in the Championship, there's a lot to learn. And there's no doubt that he would develop there, right? And there's a possibility of more personal spotlight, for right and wrong reasons, at Burnley than he would get at Manchester United. I think that's the truth, right? However, if you look at Manchester United, I mean, the scales are they're off the scale. There is a lot that Manchester United could offer, even Ruud van Nistelrooy as an assistant manager, that Burnley wouldn't be able to offer him as manager. My big question is around how this works. I think this is going to be, if I'm being completely honest, what I would predict to happen here is a bit of a loggerhead between Ineos and Erik ten Hag, and more specifically over Mitchell van der Gaag. I finally got the time to read this in full. Took me ages. But this is Laurie Whitwell's real deep dive into what happened last season. Talks about relationships, talks about Ineos, talks about Ten Hag, Van der Gaag, the doctors, the players, Sancho, everything, Casemiro, Varane. It's an incredible amount of detail. But inside it, there's quite a lot there about Van der Gaag and how I think this is pretty much coming from Dave Brailsford. He's been the man on the ground the whole time, questioning whether Van der Gaag is the right number 2 for Erik ten Hag because of similar personalities between the two, and whether or not it's creating the right environment. I wonder if there's a few questions we have to ask around this, right? Will Erik ten Hag sign that contract extension if it means that Mitchell van der Gaag will lose his job? Is one. Because it really sounds like that's a possibility. I'm going to go over here to the Telegraph and look and read the latest on Ten Hag's new contract. Man United are making good progress with Ten Hag over the new contract. They hope to finalise that contract soon. And United have still yet to finalise that agreement, but both parties are optimistic of striking a deal sooner rather than later. We know full well that this new contract for Erik ten Hag is going to be different to the contract that he signed. It's going to be different to the contract that he signed. When he signed, he was given, I mean, not complete power, but given full transfer veto. There was nobody he could lean on. There was nobody he could rely on. And it was Erik ten Hag in charge. And Mitchell van der Gaag came with him. However, it really does sound like Ineos want to bring in a new face. Now, who they replace, I think, is the biggest question. And what happens here, right, is where I think the most... there is the most uncertainty, I suppose. So say, for example, all right, Ruud van Nisterooy agrees to join Manchester United. In what capacity? Jason, you're saying down there, saying, oh, it's Benny replacement. There is no way, in my opinion, again, I might be wrong here, I don't think there's a way that Manchester United can lure Ruud van Nistelrooy to Old Trafford to work as an attacking coach underneath Steve McLaren as assistant manager, Mitchell van der Gaag as assistant manager, and Erik ten Hag as head coach. I don't think they can do that. And I might be wrong, but I'd be surprised if Ruud van Nistelrooy chose just being an attacking coach over being a head coach for Burnley in the Championship. Being an assistant manager is a different kettle of fish. And that's where, well, that's different people in the firing line. Maybe this is why Manchester, maybe this is all of, not, maybe this is why Ineos have been waiting on the Benny McCarthy contract because they knew that they might be bringing someone in. Now, look, of course, you could just make another assistant. And then you're working with Erik ten Hag as head coach, Mitchell van der Gaag as assistant manager, Steve McLaren as assistant manager, Ruud van Nistelrooy as assistant manager. And you really think that that's going to come across as clear instructions? Mitchell van der Gaag is obviously in the Ten Hag school of thought. That's why he comes around with him. He's his main lieutenant. But Steve McLaren looks at things very differently. Ruud van Nistelrooy, as a young and up-and-coming coach, will look at things very differently. That very much strikes me as a too many cooks spoil the broth sort of environment. So I think and I mean, this is the thing, like Chris, you putting it down there. If Ten Hag, I would put my money on Erik ten Hag standing there to really defend Mitchell van der Gaag. I think he'll stay in his corner. He'll support him. He'll say, I don't want him to go. He's crucial to all the work we've done here so far. And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. But I don't think he'll have that same sort of energy towards anybody else at that club. Steve McLaren or Benny McCarthy. I mean, Darren Fletcher's he's not a coach. Darren Fletcher's being repositioned. You could hypothetically see Benny McCarthy and Steve McLaren leave or move into different roles and Ruud van Nistelrooy come in as an assistant manager being in charge of attacking. I think there's going to be... Ollie had 3 assistants. Carrick, McKenna and Phelan. I mean, what the hell did McPhelan do, man? He was a kit man. Phelan was a kit man. Carrick and McKenna, of course, different. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just speculating. Vicky, you're saying you don't know these things, so it sounds like an agenda-ridden opinion. There's a hell of a sentence to throw at me there. for literally having a conversation about how I think things could be going. I don't know how that comes across as an agenda-ridden opinion, but this is just an opinion. Man, why do people get so, I don't know, over the top? Just an opinion. I would be surprised if Erik ten Hag didn't stand in defense of the man that he has worked with at multiple clubs. Crazy thought. Absolutely crazy thought. Ole, you're saying, what if Ruud van Nistelrooy is coming in to replace McLaren and not necessarily Van der Gag? I mean, could be. Could be. Don't badmouth feeling, crucial part of our vibes. Ball under Ole, great servant in the club. I don't know what he did. Don't know what he did. The only thing I would say I'm pretty certain won't happen is Ruud van Nistelrooy coming in as an attacking coach. I just can't see that happening. I don't know why he turned down a Burnley job just to be an attacking coach. It would have to be, as the Dutch paper wrote over here, assistant manager, right? So that's one thing I don't think will happen. And the other thing I personally don't think will happen is for just another assistant manager role to get created and for all the existing coaching setup to exist and for Ruud to be added into it. And that's my non-agenda ridden opinion. That's my just genuine opinion of what I think it will be. I'm very interested to find out. But the lunchtime video today, I'm going to take a little bit of a top-line look at Van Nistelrooy's time at PSV. What was the system that he played? What are the principles that underline his philosophy? Because, and I'm going to do a separate video later this week, Man United being in talks about a role for Ruud van Nistelrooy is the first sort of direction that we've got towards this game model. Because if Ineos are happy to bring in Van Nistelrooy and think he will be a good thing for the coaching staff, then they must enjoy the way that he got PSV playing. So therefore, we can look at that and probably take some bits out and some principles and say, right, okay, I can. And then when you do it, I've already done it. You can see it. So that's what the video is going to be today. Jordan, you're saying, do you believe we are getting anyone? Because I don't. Man, of course we will, man. I think it was... I think under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the last time Manchester United made a signing in June. I think. It was like Dan James. I think it was Dan James and Wan-Bissaka. I think other than that, we've never made a signing in June in the last, 5 years or so? This is what it is. Alex is saying Calafiori inverting would be awesome, but he'll cost a lot of money. Total footballer, big energy, but personally, I don't think he'll leave Italy. I suppose if someone comes in from Italy, maybe he'll stay. Has anybody been linked with him? I don't know. I don't think Thiago Motta really has. Nick, you're saying, hey Sam, what do you think of the Morata link? Also, I don't agree Euro's off the cards. He wants Madrid, but they've made no moves towards signing him. All right, let's find out. I think the more interesting part about Euro would probably be Lille know they're going to lose him for free next summer, so whoever comes in with the highest bid this summer, they'll want to push that. Of course, Euro himself is going to have to want the move as well. And according to the Athletic, he's already made it clear that he wants to join Real Madrid. So I don't know how that goes. We'll see. And read some of your comments out down here. Juventus have been linked with him, apparently. Didn't know that. Chiesa Greenwood swap deal. I saw that. That was just felt a bit weird. Yeah, King, we also made a profit on James. I know, not we also made it, but we did make a profit on Dan James. That's one of the best transfers we've done in a long time. It's a mad one. It is a mad one. Ruud is actually a bigger signing than any player we could bring in this summer, says Edward. I'm not sure I'll go that far, but Ruud would be... It would be a massive appointment, right? It would be a massive appointment. As I said, I'm going to do far more research into what went on between Ruud van Nistelrooy and the PSV players and why he left PSV the game before the end of the season. PSV finished second that season. They won the Dutch Cup. They beat Ajax in the final. but he left. And he cited a lack of support from the management. And that was amid reports that there were conflicts between the players and Ruud van Nisterooy over whether it was coaching methods or whatever it was. It's definitely more than meets the eye with what has gone on there. And I'm going to dig into it a bit more. But I'm very excited about the idea of Ruud coming to Manchester United. I can't lie. I'm biased. Hands up. I'm biased. I just want Ruud back for being Ruud, just for being a beautiful bastard just on the sideline. Man, how'd you get a beard that thick? It's not fair. I grow my beard. Nah, it's about as thick as it's going to get. Big old patchy there, patchy there. It's not fair. Flex saying, I feel Van Nistelrooy and Erik ten Hag might not get along. Well, I mean, that would be a stupid appointment then from Ineos. Erik ten Hag will have to agree to... It's not as if Ten Hag said, no, I don't want Ruud van Nistelrooy. And I said, well, it's not actually... You've got no decision here at all. Actually, Erik, we're just going to bring him anyway. Oh, great. That's a brilliant idea. That won't happen. But he's absolutely in line to be an assistant manager. And as I said, it's my opinion. I'd be surprised if he came in as just an attacking coach, or if Man United simply added in another assistant manager and we kept Steve McLaren, we kept Van der Gaag, we kept Benny McCarthy, and there wasn't a bit of a coaching staff shake-up this summer. Whether it's small or big, I don't know. We'll find out. Yes, Gungshi, it is a ridiculous beard. It's just not fair. It's just not fair. The only time Ruud is back, Martial leaves. But, mate, there's quite a few players who could learn a thing or two from, I would say, the best finisher that I've seen play for Manchester United in the Premier League. 150 goals in 219 games. Yeah, good days. That's ridiculous. That must be one of the best, if not that's got to be the best return for any striker that's played for Manchester United in terms of goals per games ratio, with that many goals in that many games. Anyway, let's see how this continues to develop. But the talks over Ten Hag's new contract are going on. And there's something that I wanted to speak about from this, right? That deep dive from Laurie Whitwell. And we always speak about the lack of support that any manager at Manchester United has ever had, right? And how this is now changing this summer. And there's one thing, again, that was pointed out in the article that really made me think. And it was around relationships. And because Manchester United haven't had a sporting director or anybody that Erik ten Hag could trust to actually take football admin away from him, players got angry with Erik ten Hag over things away from just tactics or things away from just being a head coach. Whereas if you're in an environment where you've got a sporting director, the coach can say, well, go and hate him instead. Like, just point your scorn over there. He's dealing with it, not me. I'm just a head coach. I'm focusing purely on the football and the tactics. And you think about that, and that really must change how the relationships of the players, that must change the relationship between Erik ten Hag and the players, because he's not just the head coach on the pitch. He's also the boss who deals with the ugly stuff. And that lack of separation in terms of these decisions and who's in charge and where you're pointing the finger towards must have made it a lot harder to maintain relationships with players. And I hadn't thought about it in that direction before. And I think it's really important. Someone's asking about Dan Ashworth down there. And how long is a piece of string, man? What was it called? Arbitration was supposed to happen at the end of May. It's 25th of June. I'm hearing nothing. I presumed it would be quite straightforward. I don't know whether the arbitration is still going on. If it's an open court case, maybe no one is just reporting on it until it's finished. But no one's even reporting that it's still going on. I don't know. Haven't really heard anything on that. But of course, Omar Barada starts in 20 days? In 20 days, we will have a new CEO of Manchester United. Any problems you've got with our football club now? If it's not about the tactics, if it's not about what happened last week, if it's not about what we're doing next week, don't speak to Erik ten Hag about it. You go and speak to Omar Barada, the CEO. You go and knock on the CEO's door, not on the head coach's door anymore. So in 20 days' time, the changes really begin. I mean, they've already kind of started because you've got Jason Wilcox in as a technical director. But Omar Barada coming in as a CEO, that's a man with real authority. And that should help Erik ten Hag and whoever comes, if Ruud van Nisterooy or anybody else comes in. Hold it, press the button. Erik, Ineos are taking a major L with the Ashworth stuff. I don't really see how you can see it like that. They got him from Brighton. They paid the fee. Ashworth told Manchester United what said fee was. We then went after Ashworth. He handed in his resignation. They put him on gardening leave. They've then said, oh, actually, we want £20 million, which was more than 600% what they paid Brighton. I mean, it doesn't quite match up, lads. You're not going to get that. Man United have lowballed. Newcastle went way overboard. Hence why you need a court to solve the dispute. It's annoying. Really, really annoying. If I'm being completely honest. But yeah, 20 days until Omar Barada comes in, and then we've got a new CEO. That should change things. I think so anyway. Right, second part of the show today, we're going to be focusing on the transfers. Going to speak about Jarrad Branthwaite in a second. Going to speak about Joshua Zirkzee, and then a little bit on Everton. All right. Let's go. Let me read one or two more comments on the Ashworth situation. Nick, you're saying, my concern with the Ashworth stuff is if they prove he was talking to Barada before he told Newcastle he wanted to leave. Yeah, that could happen. What United are trying to do, well, what Ashworth is trying to do is show that Newcastle sacked him or put him on gardening leave before he had told them formally that he wanted to join Manchester United. Therefore, if that was the case and they could prove it with an email chain, it would make the gardening leave void. And Ashworth could join without compensation. That's what Manchester United have been chasing this whole time. And as it stands, there's no solution. But let's move on to transfers, all right? Everton. And Branthwaite. We know Man United. It feels like Man United playing the waiting game here, right? Because, right? On the day the transfer window opened, we agreed personal terms with Branthwaite. The day after, we had put in a £43 million bid. We weren't messing it. Boom, boom. Straight away. Back to back. Within 24 hours. Personal terms and first bid in. And now we're here waiting 4, 5, 6 days. I don't know. Maybe a little bit longer than that. And the second bid hasn't gone in. And it may well just be United playing the waiting game before the 30th of June and the PSR deadline. I'll tell you what. Everton are enjoying themselves. For a club who have severe financial trouble. We've got, here we go on Untied. I don't know who he is. Anyway, 19 million, 18.5 million plus one. So 20 million total in a package. And they've already signed somebody else as well for another, I think, around about 11 mil. 10, 11 mil. Now, Lewis Dobbin has been sold to Aston Villa. But Everton are spending. Newcastle told Everton to get in the bin. They wanted Calvert-Lewin. Everton wanted an extortionate price. And they said no. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? Yeah, and I knew the first bid was testing the water, but I think that's exactly what United are doing right now. I think we're still testing the water. Everton are presumably, when it comes to, hey, look, the books, man, and creative accounting that is now required in football because of the rules, anyway, the loopholes. They're probably not going to register these players until after the June 30th deadline, and they will probably agree to put the Lewis Dobbin sale into the account, so that's plus 6 mil, or however much they're getting up front for him. And then on July the 1st, then Untied and the other player will be added onto their books. And those fees will go onto next year's accounts. That's probably what will happen, all right? Because we're at the point now where you wait a day or two and it will go in 1 year's accounts rather than another year accounts. Creative accounting. Maybe, and this could be said, maybe Everton are already spending Branthwaite money. Or already spending, don't know, whatever money. But United haven't gone back in with a second bid. Now, either we're just waiting and we're going to throw it in quite close to the deadline and really, as you say, Robert, it's a game of chicken, really say, look, we either accept this in the next 48 hours or this bid's gone. And maybe that's exactly what will happen. We'll find out. Talk of a United bid going in for Onana yesterday. Don't know. I haven't seen anything on Onana. I had quite a few of you talking about Onana in the comments. And I've said, look, if I was Everton, what is it, boss, president? No idea. That would mean they're being sold anyway. If I owned Everton and I was looking at these players, I would choose to sell Onana this summer. I would keep Branthwaite. And I would probably sell Branthwaite for even more money next summer because I think he's just going to continue to develop. Even if they're going to a relegation scrap. I mean, he won't be able to develop too much more, but he'll just become even better in those areas where he developed last season. I would keep Branthwaite. And I would sell Onana. So maybe they're pushing Onana behind the scenes. Pushing for a deal for him. I haven't seen anybody really heavily. I think Barcelona have been tentatively linked with him. I don't know. I don't know who else. People are speaking about Bayern Munich. I don't know whether you're making the Belgian links with Company and Onana. But Bayern Munich are about to sign Paulinho and they were going to sign him last summer. Are they going to really sign Paulinho and Onana in the same summer? Two players who I would argue were probably playing a pretty similar stance on the pitch. Maybe not. I don't know. They've also got Elise, by the way. But it feels like we've just been sat in a game, as described it, in a game of chicken that we've been in for a while. Just sitting there watching, figuring out what's going on. Everton, they're making moves elsewhere. They're spending money. They're trying to overcharge Newcastle. And Newcastle said, shut your mouth. And they said no. Newcastle have walked away from any sort of deal over Calvert-Lewin because they're trying to put a big... How much are they putting on him? I haven't actually looked. Asking for a price well in excess of £40 million. For Calvert-Lewin. 40 million. 40 million. I mean, Everton are enjoying themselves this summer, aren't they? Man, where are they getting these price tags from? It's like an 8-ball thing. They're just shaking and going, yeah, 40 million. Yeah, nice. I think that, what was it, like a couple of years ago when Calvert-Lewin was like red hot? I think maybe you could have got 40 million from him then. But I don't think you're going to be getting that now. Anyway, Branthwaite, I think as I said, we're just in this game of chicken here with Everton. Let's see if United decide to pull out a final ace a couple of days before and put in an offer in the region of 50 to 55 mil for Branthwaite. Because then they'll have to make the decision to accept it or not before the 30th of June. Let's find out. A little mini update here. Jordan, thanks for gifting the membership, dude. You and Cedric. Boys. Like Harry Potter. Whee! Joshua Zirkzee, all right? Truth be told, there's not much of an update on Joshua Zirkzee to bring you, all right? The Athletic just reporting kind of the same of what's been reported before. Man United remain in talks. The interest is advanced. We're speaking with his representatives. We're trying to figure out what the price for him would be. I mean, that's exactly what it was before. I'll tell you what we haven't heard much of is this. Who else do you think is in there, right? The 23-year-old forward is one of several candidates as the club seek to sign someone who can provide competition to Rasmus Højlund. Now, I've spoken previously about Serhou Guirassy. He's told Stuttgart yesterday he wants to leave. I mean, a host of clubs are linked with him, not Man United. If it's not Joshua Zirkzee, what other players do you think will be on that list? Pranay, you said down there, Jonathan David. I think that's a fair shout. I think Jonathan David would be a fair shout as an alternative. But I don't know who else. Really? People speaking about Morata. Morata screams of a signing that Edward would probably have made. Or the sort of signing that Man United might make in January when we desperately need one mid-season. Nicholas Gaetan and Schneider. Yeah, good. We'll get to both of those in. Can United bring back Wout Weghorst? Man. Good old Veggie. I enjoyed that little 3-month period. It was the best football we played, and he started every game. I know he couldn't score. Guy did plenty more than lots of other players around him. Did it. Joselu, people are talking about as well. He's leaving Real Madrid, but I think he's going to Saudi. I just haven't really seen any other main names be linked. Get Igalo in. Less of that. Matthias Tell. Well, no chance of that happening. Dybala, Boniface. Random things we get. Random names being thrown down here. But none that really have been highlighted to this point as an alternative to Zirkzee. But let's find out, all right? Because at this moment in time, it's not really developed in the last couple of days. I'm still planning on doing we're going to do like a transfer profile video on Joshua Zirkzee a little bit later this week. We've done one so far on Todibo. We've done one on Jarrad Branthwaite. And we've done one on Michael Elise. Going to be doing one on Joshua Zirkzee now. If I can ask you, please, before we wrap up the show, can you please do drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it? Or if you didn't, just do it out of sympathy anyway. And last couple of minutes, if you want to ask a question or if there's any comments that you don't think I've answered, please fire it into the comments. And the main talking point there today was all around Ruud van Nisterooy. And what my predictions and opinions would be if he was to come in. And look, Van der Gag has been loyal to Erik ten Hag. I think somebody mentioned it in the comments there. He turned down the Ajax job, didn't he? To become Man United's assistant. So he showed real loyalty to Ten. That's what I mean. I think the loyalty is going to go both ways. I really do. So I'd be surprised if Erik ten Hag didn't stick his neck out to try and protect his role. But then what happens then? I don't know. Any links with any midfielders? Let's have a look. I mean, I've got Onana and Fofana down there in the greens, but not really much. João Neves has got really excited, and then nothing really has happened since. Hjulmand, I think, will cost too much. Doubt we're going to get him. João Gomez from Wolves cost too much. Vifa, heard nothing. Thuram, whispers. Dewsbury Hall, that was loud at the start of the window, but nothing since. And there's loads more. But no, not really. No, not really. And any news on Rabiot is, I'm not going to be getting Rabiot. I appreciate everyone asking down there in the comments about my foot. As I said at the start of the show, I'm now had the surgery on the 14th of Feb. So 4 months and 10 days into the rehab. And I think I reckon I'm about 3 months off running. That's what I think. Of having being able to just put your full weight on your foot, come up onto your toes. Yeah, this surgery was nuts. I honestly think recovering from an Achilles rupture is far more straightforward than the recovery. It's not. I know it is. But yeah, we'll get there. But it's certainly going to take a few more months. That's all right. You're here to keep me company. But thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to do my lunchtime video today on Ruud, as I said. Shax, what's the temperature in your studio? A lot less because there's a fan out there. If the fan wasn't out there, I'd be stonking hot. And I'll tell you what do you reckon about this? Woo. That's the Garnacho design. Love that design. Jeez. That's one of the new bits of merch. This is the fit of the t-shirt. It's a real high quality t-shirt. You'll be able to feel it when you get it. Yeah. But the merch will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. That's what I'm hoping for. We are right towards the end. I know it's taken so long, but it's going to be a summer drop. I guarantee it's going to be a summer drop. Big up to all of you. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll be here tomorrow. and I'll see you soon. Take it easy.